Hi friends, my name is Hannah and welcome to the Pages segment of this Pages and Pearls podcast. Today I am starting a writing vlog. I know, despite what I said in my previous knitting podcast that the writing vlogs would probably come only later, I actually felt like making a writing vlog and see if that could motivate me. So here we are. It shouldn't come as a surprise to me that I say one thing and then I do another thing. Well, but that's what happened. Yeah, I'm not gonna only film today because I think I'll only have material here and there to actually put into this vlog, but I'm really excited to make a vlog in the first place and to take you along with my writing journey, writing routine, whatever you want to call it. And I just wanted to briefly, catch you up where I'm at with my writing right now, because I think I've hinted at it here and there throughout the knitting podcasts. So yeah, overall, I am currently writing a rom-com and I'm in the middle of the second draft of this rom-com. I wrote the first draft from November 2021 and I think I finished it in June of last year. So yeah, November 2021 till June of 2022. I took a few breaks in between because I just wasn't inspired at that moment or didn't feel like writing and things got too busy. But overall, that's roughly the amount of time it took me to finish this first draft. Actually, let me get the first draft because I printed it out. I finished the first draft at 102,000 words, which is a lot. So that's how many words this draft has. The book for now is called Love and Other Brain Experiments. I shorten it to Lobe because, just handier. And as the title suggests, it's about love. And, well, not really there are not many brain experiments in there, but it's about two scientists. So what I did for the last days, today is Tuesday, so yesterday, Monday morning, and this morning, I just sat with the story in the mornings while I had my tea. I did a bit of writing, a bit of editing of parts from the first draft that I'm taking into the second draft. And at least it sets me up to think about the story some more each and every day. And I think that's the most important part at this point. I did also write a bit yesterday afternoon. I also have a writing date this afternoon. And hopefully I can take you along. Hello, good morning. It's Wednesday today. The last footage that you saw is probably from when I went on my little writing date yesterday. I met my friend after work and we went together to the public library, and it's such a nice place. I've worked there before and I've also written there before. At some point last summer I was editing a lot from there. It's the Rose Reading Room in the New York Public Library, and you can go there super easily to study and read, so it's perfect. It's in the middle of the city, and it's a really inspiring and nice place, and I really like going there and how quiet it is, and just it's a super nice place to write. So we ended up doing that. I got some writing done. I'm not really counting words at the moment because it's a bit tricky. I don't want to increase my word count that much compared to the first draft. As I said, I think yesterday, that the first draft has 102,000 words, and I would ideally like to get the story to around 90,000 words if that's possible. So at the moment with my writing sessions, I'm not really counting words because I'm rewriting a lot, cutting out a lot of words, taking over some passages that I had from draft 1, but trying to cut down on them as well, or change them to express things a bit differently. So yeah, I'm not counting words. That's the main message. But I did get a chunk of writing done. I advanced a bit in a chapter that I had been stuck in since basically I gave up on writing a few months ago, and that chapter is now done, and I really like where it has gotten. I think it's not perfect yet. I still have to improve on it a bit, but I'm happy for now. So I got to get to the next chapter, which is a bit easier because I'm not going to change too many things from the first draft. Still a few, but yeah, there's already a bit of a structure there. So that's always helpful to not start from scratch. So we ended up writing for about 2 hours, I would say. And then I just came home afterwards. And yeah, this morning I wrote a little bit as well. As I said, I'm trying to dedicate a little bit of time while I have my breakfast to either getting some writing done or think a little bit about what's going to happen next, just so that when I sit down at my desk the next time, I don't have to start from scratch and force my brain into some sort of chapter or whatever, but that already in the morning I set my mind up to ponder on these things throughout the day until I get to my desk. And yesterday, because there's the Muji, like the stationery, home goods, whatever shop right across from the library, and I needed to stock up on some small stationery items, I also got myself a little notebook to do those morning pages in, because it's always a tricky business. I fall easily into the habit of collecting pretty notebooks and then not using them. So I tend to look for something simple that has a good enough paper quality that not everything like bleeds through to an insane amount, but that it's simple enough that I just start using it rather than wanting to keep it pristine for some special occasion. So these are the 3 things that I got. Just a regular, ballpoint pen. I love these ones, and I got this small notepad just with like lines on one page and blank on the other. I didn't write out my notes for today yet, but I like to just see what's ahead for me that day and not the rest of the week, because otherwise that's too overwhelming at the moment. And then this is the notebook. It's I think B6 format, so it also fits into my smallest handbag, so that's quite nice. And it's just like unlined. I feel like I get a bit constrained if the pages are lined or have some other pattern on them, so I always like just the blank pages. And I started filling it up yesterday at the library with a page to just organize my thoughts a bit on what I wanted to accomplish in the scene that I was writing. And this morning I was doing the same for the next scene, and already writing a bit of dialogue and stuff. So I don't write a lot by hand, but I do know that when I'm stuck or when I feel like I'm just writing the scene and get into this weird flow where like the scene is going, but it's actually not going anywhere, and there's like banter and dialogue, but nothing useful is happening, then I like to write it out by hand, like what I still need to put into the scene, what I still need to accomplish before wrapping it up. So I don't have anything specific planned for today, but I guess I think after work I'm gonna either stay home or maybe go to a coffee shop in the area to get my writing done for today. Hello. It is the evening now. I finished work for today and I went for a walk with my partner to air my head out a little bit, and now I am getting ready to head into a writing session. I have my ASMR room set up. It's the Writer's Room ASMR Ambience by Miracle Forest, who's one of my favorite ambience room creators. And I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna do writing sprints of like 15-20 minutes or if I'm just gonna go ahead and see how it goes. But yeah, let's get going. Hello and good morning. It is Thursday morning and I wanted to quickly check in with you guys before I get started with work for the day. I ended up writing quite a bit still yesterday evening after I went for my walk. I'm currently a bit jumping back and forth between chapters because the previous chapter that I was editing, I thought I could cut a scene, but now I realized that that scene actually has some parts in it that I really want to keep and that are not enough to just cover in like a quick throwback or reflection of the main character. So I'm sort of in two separate chapters at the moment and figuring out the emotional turning point that has to happen at that time, basically. And because it's a gradual like realization that one of the main characters has, it has to be sort of distributed across many several chapters, that it happens gradually, and that's why I'm jumping back and forth between chapters. That happens to me quite often actually, that I end up working across several scenes at once. I think maybe there's something to just getting the emotional tone right for me, that if I focus on one certain emotion, I need to sort of all of the ideas about this come, or I'm in the mood to write about this, and then I try to capitalize on that and distribute it over the several parts of the book or of the chapter that I need to bring those in. So yeah, that's just a little bit about that. And then today, so I'm gonna do a bit of work now, I'm gonna do quite some work now, and then in the afternoon I'm gonna meet a friend for a co-working session, and then probably afterwards we're also gonna write, and again, probably I'll take you along to that, and let's see how far we get. So it's Thursday today. Tomorrow my parents will come to visit from Europe for a few weeks, so I'm not sure how much time I will have to write then. I definitely want to try to stick to my morning routine of setting up my thoughts for the day, to think about these pages, or the pages that I'm gonna write, or the ones that I've written, or just to structure things. So I hope that I can keep doing that. And ideally I would want to finish one of the chapters that I'm sort of like dabbling in until they arrive, and maybe advance still a bit with the other one, but let's see how far I get. I'm trying not to put any pressure on myself in terms of what I need to finish at which point, because there are no deadlines, and it's actually nice for once to not have any deadlines, because I have enough of those with work. Anyhow, I will check back in with you later, and yeah, I'll see you then. Hey friends, it is Friday morning. Yesterday afternoon I went to a cafe in Soho with my friend. The place was called Butler's. I'd never been there before, but I enjoyed it. It was a nice place where they don't give you plastic cups even if you stay, which is not so usual in New York, unfortunately. The coffee was nice, and yeah, there was a nice atmosphere to work in. We ended up working through most of the afternoon, and at some point switched to our writing to get a bit of, get some words out. And afterwards we still went for a short walk. I didn't get super much writing done yesterday, but I feel like the scenes that I'm working on are slowly falling into place. I did continue with my notes in the morning, which was very helpful. Maybe if I would be writing a fast draft, it would be more useful for me to actually free write or continue some of the scenes in the mornings. But what I did this week, as I think I said yesterday also, was mostly to think about either the scenes I'd written previously or what I still wanted to write. And because this is a second draft, I know where the story is going, and I'm trying to sort of parse out which parts I need to describe directly in the book and which are more like backstory for me to know. I find it very helpful to have this moment of reflection every day on what I've written, what can stay in, what I can kick out, and what purposes some of the scenes still need to fulfill. Probably this is super basic, I don't know, but I'm just telling you this because it worked for me, and it's always nice to know what works for other writers in case you're stuck or you want to try new things, right? So yeah, what I did basically was every morning sort of like almost talking to myself, okay, do this. So for example, in one of the scenes that I was writing, they're on a boat. I realized the next morning that I described many aspects of this boat, but not actually the movement on the waves or whatever. I don't have that inserted throughout the scenes, and that would be something that would be good to put in. And yeah, just taking a step back from the actual writing process to figure out what would still need to be in that scene for it to feel complete to me, because that's the purpose of this draft at the moment. Whether that's description or dialogue or inner monologue or whatever, right? Like that's what I'm working on in this draft. I'm of course trying to make the quality in terms of the writing and the words better, but at the moment I mainly just want the information and the details in there, and then in the next round I can try to make it prettier or give the character a bit more voice, that it sounds more like it's actually coming from her perspective and her head and so on, right? So yeah, that's what I've been working on in the mornings when writing my notes, and I think that's something I definitely want to continue with because it was super helpful, and every time I sat down to write, that gave me a really good starting point because I'd already written myself instructions on what needs to change in the scene. And yeah, I always find if I have some entry into the scene, something that I need to change, then everything else after comes easier as well. Even if it's often not easy, but just that first push is always quite valuable. I'm not going to give you any word count for the writing that I did this week because I haven't been keeping track. I deleted a bunch of paragraphs, so I might even ended up with fewer words than I had at the beginning of this week, but that's fine because, as I said, I'm not looking to increase the word count. It's not a first draft where I'm trying to put the story down in order to have something to work on later, but this is really, a place where I want to filter all the information and see what is necessary. So word count to me at the moment doesn't matter. I honestly think I'm still above the number of words that I want to get to in this draft, so I will probably have another round of revisions where I just try to cut down as much as possible, but that's a problem for future me to worry about. Overall, though, I'm quite happy with how this week went, because it was the first full week that I was trying to get into writing. I know I only started filming almost halfway through, so on Monday or Tuesday, and I'd written the first few words in a while last Saturday, so almost a week ago. But yeah, I'm really happy where this took me, because the first important step for me was to build up some routine again, to not feel lost every time I would open my computer, and I feel like that's something I definitely achieved. The excitement for the story is back. I am noticing that I want to make time for writing in my day, so that's always a really good sign. And I think the important part for me right now is to try to keep that, even if it's just a few sentences here and there, just to have like a very slow, very, very slow progress. I think this was a very positive way of starting a writing vlog. I'm pretty sure that in future ones I will start caring much more about the words that I'm putting out again, and then, I might get confused with certain scenes or just unhappy with the comparison of what's on the page compared to what's in my mind, but we'll see when we get there. For now, I wanted to wrap up this writing vlog because I won't have a lot of time to write and film over the next days, I think, or at least I don't want to put the pressure on myself to document it. But before we end, I wanted to first of all thank you for watching if you're still watching this, and second, if you're still here, also to learn a little bit more about you if you're a writer yourself, and if you want to share what you're currently working on or some, lesson you've learned this week or some problem you've been facing. I'm happy to chat to you guys because I'm always looking for more people to talk to about writing. And other than that, thanks for watching. If you want to see more of this sort of content, signaling that to me with a like or a subscription if you're not subscribed yet would be very helpful. And other than that, I hope you have a good day whenever you're watching this, and see you soon. Bye bye.